Hi, I'm Michael Harley. I'm up here on Angeles Crest Highway with a 2016 Mercedes AMG GTS. There are two ways to look at this car. First, as a successor to the previous generation, the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, or second, as a shot over the bow of the formidable Porsche 911. A lot of people look at it and say, wait a second, I see a lot of SLS in this thing. And that's true because Mercedes-Benz used the SLS architecture, the aluminum-intensive architecture, to make the new AMG GTS. First and foremost, they shortened the chassis a bit. They removed those obvious going doors. They widened it, they lightened it, plus they put a brand new engine under the hood. So I've opened the hood to this crazy 90-degree angle to show you the engine. Obviously, if you're an SLS fan, you remember that wonderful 6.2-liter V8 that just screamed, naturally aspirated, the deepest of deep exhaust notes. Well, what Mercedes has done is they've downsized like every other automaker. Now they have a 4-liter twin-turbo V8. The engine's smaller, more compact, and believe it or not, a lot more powerful. Output on this, twin-turbo, direct injected, 503 horsepower, 479 foot-pounds of torque. Packaging dictated a very long hood and a really short and stubby passenger compartment in the back. But that long hood, most people expect this long V12 engine in there. It's not the case. Mercedes has taken its 4-liter V8 and shoved it way to the back of the engine compartment. You come up here and look at this thing, this is virtually all air. The entire engine block, everything is behind the front axle. They call it a front mid-engine location. There's a reason why all the world's greatest sports cars have all their weight between the two axles, and it's for handling. This car, 47% of the weight over the front wheels, all told, just over 3,600 pound curb weight. What that translates to is really, really good handling. The car is agile, quick to turn. It's wonderful in the canyons. Mercedes AMG obviously gave the vehicle plenty of power to go fast, but it's also equally as important to be able to stop. Now in standard trim, this car comes with steel brakes with 6-piston calipers, but this particular vehicle, this solar beam yellow, bright light in the day, comes with the optional carbon ceramics. The rotors itself are actually bigger than most of the wheels on Honda Civics, and these are 6-piston calipers. Most cars on the road today have single-piston calipers. This thing stops literally on a dime. Contact patch, equally as important. Contact patch, easily described, is the shoes. How much of the rubber is actually on the road. This car is configured with 20-inch forged wheels, lightweight. They're able to follow all the bumps. You can peel out faster because the engine can spin them quicker as well. They're wrapped in 295 section tires, big fat contact patches. These are Michelin Sport Cup 2 tires. Best way to describe them? Racing tires. They're R compound, super sticky. Just take a look at all the rocks and gravel that are stuck on these things. And another thing Mercedes has done on this car is negative camber. Negative camber means the wheels look like this. What it translates to in rear-wheel driving, the contact patch is always in touch with the surface of the road no matter how hard you're cornering. Look up front. You've got a couple degrees of negative camber. That's almost unseen on a street vehicle. Like most exotics, this is a 2-passenger sports car. The cockpit is best described as very intimate and cozy. I wouldn't go so far as to call it claustrophobic, but you see you've got decent outward visibility. It's a tight fit. I'm 6'2". I got plenty of room. You know, once you're in it, you feel like you're situated inside it pretty tightly. Mercedes-Benz, an automaker known for making some of the world's greatest luxury vehicles. Obviously, a lot of that luxury still comes across. The stitching, the fit and finish, it's beautiful, but at the same time, there's a whole bunch of sport. A sport with a futuristic flair. Look at this sea of buttons, beautiful ergonomic handles and controls. You've got switchgear up top like you're in a fighter jet. You've got everything spread around you. It's a really, really involving driving experience. Probably not the world's greatest ergonomic layout, but definitely plenty of luxury, plenty of sport, and plenty of wow moments, especially when you're showing it off to your friends. So now we're driving down Angeles Crest, and one of the first things I do every time I get in this car is I start messing with the dynamic settings. By default, it drops into comfort. The car's quiet. I don't want to say it's comfortable and soft. It's got a very firm ride no matter what, but it's pretty mellow. So what I do, flip this thing around quickly to Sport Plus, or let's go to Race. and it completely changes the character of the car. The exhaust opens up, you can hear it. The dampers firm up, the throttle response gets a little more angry, a little quicker. The rear spoiler kicks up, a bunch of things happen. It's not just one or two little things. The car completely changes personality. It goes from mild to wild. So I've got it in race mode right now, and this transmission, it's a 7-speed dual clutch, will not shift. It's gonna go all the way to red line no matter what. And if I'm cruising along at 60 miles an hour, it will hold it at 6,500 RPM without giving a hoot about fuel economy or anything like that. It's a crazy cool mode, but it's called race mode for a reason. Go over to manual mode and play with the paddles. You get the pop, the cackle, instant torque, instant throttle. You can literally just fly. This thing is so easy to keep exactly between these two yellow lines. And it's funny because you're looking at this long thing. I mean, it looks like you're riding on top of Big Bird's head, but you can control the beak. You know exactly where to put it. Downshift, go into the corner, turn in. It's got all that negative camber. Immediately it listens to you. There is no like, but wait, no, it's instant. Absolutely right on the mark. Just flies. So incredibly fun. Obedient. It's a word that's used over and over again, but this car defines obedient. Earlier, I talked about the seating position. These 2 bucket seats, huge bolstering. These things hold you in. You literally don't even need seat belts. You are so tightly shorn into this thing. I'm not a big guy, I'm not tiny, but they fit perfectly. And of course, even though they are really, really tight, lightweight bucket seats, you've still got all the controls on the side. You can adjust the bolster, you can adjust the rake and everything about it. Really, really good seats. Bottom cushions are hard. I did do a 100-mile road trip in this thing, and you know, firm is the word of the day. Those huge carbon ceramic brakes I was talking about earlier are unflappable. There is no amount of heat you can put into these things to make them fade. I don't care what you do. You'd think you could probably pull a semi behind you and tow it and take it down to the world's biggest grade, 80,000 pounds on your tail, and this thing will stop them. There is no sign whatsoever of fade. The brake pedal, nice and firm, a lot like a race car, but at the same time, you can modulate it so well. You don't have to worry about it. It's not an on-off switch. It's just really, really easy to control. Really, really mellow. The thing that makes this car so good in the canyons, actually it's not just one thing, it's a bunch of things. It's the balance. First of all, we talked about earlier, the engine located so far back in the engine compartment. All that weight on the back wheels. It's just really, really easy to turn. It just instantaneously responds to all of your inputs. The other thing is the power. This twin turbo V8, you get on it and it just goes. There's no hesitation, there's no turbo lag. Right now we're about 3,000 or 4,000 feet elevation. It doesn't even notice that the air is any thinner. The other thing, steering, really, really good steering. Now when I did change it to race mode, it tightens the steering up a little, but the turn in, crisp, immediate, nicely weighted. Nothing, the brakes, huge, massive carbon ceramics. It's just an overall amazing package. And of course, you wrap it in sexy sheet metal, you paint it bright yellow, you put some carbon fiber on the outside, and you've got an amazing package. This thing is definitely a winner, definitely. And it's a ton of fun to drive. It's not just this cosmetic thing that looks cool and sounds wonderful. It truly is a lot of fun to drive. So there's the analogy in the beginning. I brought up the fact that Mercedes AMG is really going after the Porsche 911. And I had the opportunity the other day. I've driven all the new 911s. I just drove a Turbo S 911, which is their flagship. This to me compares a lot more along the GT line, the GT3 RS line, especially the way it's configured with the additional camber up front, the firmer dampers, the tighter springs, you know, the forged wheels, the R-compound tires. To me, it's much more like that rear-wheel drive GT3 or GT3 RS. But that said, they're very, very different cars. This is a beast of a car. It just has so much power. All it wants to do the entire time is break the rear wheels free and challenge the driver. The Porsche 911, the GT3s, they're much more finesse, very, very precise, very easy to drive at the limit, very predictable. It all comes back to what your parents told you. There are girls you want to marry and girls you want to date. This particular AMG GTS is the one who shows up at your front door wearing the 6-inch stilettos, the tube top, and the mini skirt. You're gonna have a hell of a lot of fun on her date. It's up to you if she's the one you're gonna ask to marry. I'm not gonna say, this car is just so fun. It just really, really is fun. That's how the guys felt when they went to the moon, I swear.